This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
And just now at the top of the hour, the new temperature has come in. It is down to 12 degrees. That is a new record low temperature for this state. The cold air has settled in and it's sticking around for a while.
Mobile home park neighbors are headed to court after being told they would be evicted. What today's hearing could decide for those residents.
And as new ownership comes to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, fans are concerned about preserving history. Why they're worried about the track's iconic marquee.
A winter weather advisory is still in effect for much of central Indiana this morning. Snow continued to fall overnight and temperatures are now in the teens. Thanks for joining us here at 5 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. I'm Meredith Barrett.
And I'm Lauren Casey. We have a look at those roads as well. But first, before we get to traffic, we want to get to Todd Clausen and talk about just how cold it feels out there, Todd.
Yeah, so it's all about the cold now. The snow has come to an end for the most part. There could be a few flurries out there, but what's on the ground is pretty slick and icy. So make sure you give yourself a little bit of extra time, especially if you're in parking lots or areas or sidewalks that haven't been treated with salt, because our temperatures are well below freezing. In fact, 12 degrees now, new record low temperature for Indianapolis. It's 12 in Martinsville, Crawfordsville, you're down to 8 degrees. It's 13 in Tipton. So it's an extremely cold morning. You factor in the wind that's out there and it feels like it's below zero. So just give yourself some extra time here this morning. This is our first taste of these sub-zero wind chill values that we've seen so far in this early winter season or late fall season, depending on how you want to call it. But keep in mind, our normal high should be in the low 50s still. That's how extreme this air mass is. The winter weather advisory will go until 8 a.m. Basically, again, it's for what's on the ground currently, not what's heading our way. A few flurries possible in northern locations, drifting in off of Lake Michigan. But the system that brought us record snow yesterday, 2.8 inches, that is now off to the east. So today, just be on the lookout for slick spots on the roadways. Temperatures, even with a lot of sunshine today, do not do much at all. Our high only gets up to right around 23 degrees, but when you factor in that wind, Lauren, it's going to feel like it's in the single digits or teens throughout much of the day.
All right, Todd. Well, the good news right now around the metro area, we're not monitoring any crashes. So despite the fact that there's probably some slick spots out there, especially on those secondary streets and bridges and overpasses, things are looking pretty good overall. Let's plan out your drive. Heading southbound on I-65, there's no delays right now on the northwest side. A 17-minute drive from I-865 down to I-70 at the north split. So let's take a turn over to the northeast side of town, get a look from our INDOT traffic camera here at I-465 and I-69. You can see traffic is moving along okay. You can see the Ram traffic there a little bit slow. Obviously, it's where we have some possible slick spots this morning. So I would still give yourself that extra 5-10 minutes as you're heading out the door. And a heads up, we do have more than 20 school delays right now. So check those out before you head out on the roads.
We are following breaking news this morning from the city's south side. Police are investigating a homicide in an apartment building near Garfield Park.
And we want to take a live look at the scene right now. Officers were called out here to Garfield Terrace Apartments. This is on Shelby Street. Just after 3 o'clock this morning, they had reports of a person down and they found a man lying unconscious inside the common area of those apartments. Witnesses tell police they heard an argument shortly before the man was found. Police don't believe that the man lived in the building. If you have any information about what happened here, please call Crime Stoppers.
Here at 5:03, we want to talk about the weather a little bit more. A lot of people experiencing these temps for the first time of this season, and it is so important they are prepared.
Yeah, sometimes the first one is the most rough because we just have to get reacclimated to the system. Yeah. And so our Kelsey Anderson is live showing us what it looks like out there on the roads, even those side streets, Kelsey.
Hey, so yeah, we're getting acclimated to this cold weather, and let me tell you, it is cold. But as far as the streets go, this is 96th Meridian, and as you can see, things are moving pretty smoothly here, and most of the drive time we've had today has been pretty smooth. But take a look over here. This is what we want to warn you about. It's when you get to your location that you're going to have to watch for that ice and snowy ground in your parking lots at work or your doctor's appointment or school or wherever you're going today. But the big thing we want to remind people of is if you've got kids at the bus stop, make sure they're bundled up. Maybe drive them to the bus stop, have them sit in your car while you're there. And again, so drive times should be okay. I would, of course, give yourself plenty of extra time. Give yourself some time for your car to heat up, to get your car cleared off of snow. We had it blowing up on our windshield as we were driving. So you want to make sure you get all of that done. And then, of course, this is a good time just to remind you to have your emergency weather kit. Maybe start getting that prepared once you get home from work tonight. That's going to have things like chargers, blankets, foods, anything that you think you may need if you get stuck in a weather emergency throughout this winter. Again, because this is the first snow, so we've got more coming, but we will be out here all morning giving you updates on road conditions and how you can be prepared for the winter. But I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Kelsey, stay warm out there. Thank you. Now to a story you first saw here on RTV6. A court hearing will be held today to determine if residents of this southeast side mobile home park can stay in their homes after the owners of the park said they were evicting them. In August, the owner of Blue Lakes Incorporated told residents they either had to move their mobile homes for the property or those homes would be demolished. Attorney General Curtis Hill sued the owners of the I-70 mobile home park last month. A restraining order was then granted by a judge to allow residents to stay in their homes at least until a court hearing was held. Well, that hearing is now scheduled for this afternoon. Residents, including Jeff Melton, have a simple request from the court.
Well, to be honest with you, and I'm not going to lie, I hope that we get a little more of an extension and that the courts, they have a little compassion for us, because here it is now. It's the holidays coming up. You got Thanksgiving. You've got Christmas. You know, I mean, and here it is now. It's snowing. So, you know, and you can't move a mobile home in the snow. They won't do it.
The hearing between Blue Lakes Incorporated and the Indiana Attorney General is scheduled for 1:30 today in Marion Superior Court.
At 5:06, change is happening at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and fans want to make sure that an iconic piece of history isn't buried even as a new era moves in. Fans are asking the classic IMS marquee be put back on display. They say right now the old gate 1 sign is hidden by overgrown bushes and weeds. Addison Henderson would like to see the iconic wing and wheel in a place where the public can actually appreciate it.
I think it would make a great centerpiece right there in the center of the new roundabout, or you could put it on display out in front of the museum, but I definitely want to see it restored because it's only going to get worse sitting out in the weather and weeds growing up around it and deteriorating like that. So I'd like to see it taken from that location, and I'd like the public to be able to see it again too.
Well, we reached out to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for more information, and a representative tells us that the marquee is in a secured storage facility. IMS says the sign is an important historical artifact and it will be preserved.
A 14-year-old boy is in the hospital this morning after being hit by a pickup truck on his way to school. According to the Hancock County Sheriff's Department, Kyan Hayes was hit while riding his bike on School Street in US 52 in New Palestine. It happened around 7:15 yesterday morning. Hayes suffered head trauma and internal injuries and was taken to Riley Children's Hospital for treatment. Investigators say he is in critical condition but is expected to survive.
The Indiana Attorney General's office has won a lawsuit against a Carmel home improvement company first exposed by Call 6 Investigates. Green Frog Restoration took more than $389,000 in payments over 10 months, but never finished the work or provided a refund, according to the state. Call 6 first told you about those issues back in 2015 after customers reached out to us for help. A Hamilton County court decided just last week that the owner, James Twaddle, is responsible for $1.3 million judgment. It's not clear yet if and when Indiana consumers could get the money from this new judgment, but we're told at least 63 Hoosiers were victims.
A landmark Central Indiana restaurant that closed its doors in September is going on the auction block. The former home of Poe Brothers Cafeteria in Mooresville, including the land, will be up for sale on November 23rd. Poe Brothers opened in 1982 in a building on a hill overlooking State Road 67. Before that, Kelly Poe owned a restaurant on the same site starting in 1960.
It's 5:09. Teachers in Lawrence Township are getting a raise. The school board approved a 3% increase just last night. The contract covers the current school year and has already been ratified by the teachers. Salaries for starting teachers will be at around $43,000. That's according to the administration. We do want to get a check of our forecast on this chilly Storm Team 6 alert day. Todd, what's it looking like out there?
Yeah, as you walk out the door, you're walking out to temperatures that are at record low levels here across central Indiana. We are sitting down into the teens in most locations, some of you down into the single digits, and our temperatures will hold steady, if not drop off another couple degrees here this morning before we start to warm with clear skies out there. And it will be a bright day for us. That is the good news. It's just not going to be a warm day. So as far as snow goes, that's pretty much come to an end. The snow that you see here in northeast Indiana, that is a result of the winds and the lake effect snow machine off of Lake Michigan. So if you're traveling up to Fort Wayne or Angola up I-69, you may run into some issues. Otherwise, what's on the ground is your issue here in central Indiana, as everything is frozen over from the snow yesterday. But there's the band of snow that went through here. It's now off towards the east. So again, it's a bright day for us. That is the good news. But temperatures today, not going to do a whole lot. Only about 20 degrees for your high in Lafayette, 21 in Kokomo, 26 in Bloomington. And this is not even factoring in the wind. Factor in the wind, and it's going to feel like it's in the teens or even single digits here throughout much of the day today.
Todd, thank you. Feet of snow in some parts of the Midwest causing deadly crashes in Missouri, and a plane to slide off the runway in Chicago. Coming up, the latest on the widespread winter storm.
And Amazon is creating a new store for you to shop in person. Still ahead, the new brick and mortar location in the works.
And here's a live look over on the west side where traffic is moving along about up to speed here. I-465 and I-74. Again, use caution. Watch for slick spots as you're heading out on the roads, but we'll let you know if there are any major crashes or delays that could slow you down. Stick around. We'll be right back after this short break.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 5:14 here on your Tuesday, and we're keeping a close eye on your roads. Traffic here at I-70 in the North Split is moving along up to speed. You want to use caution on those secondary streets and check the RTV6 app or the bottom of your screen for school delays. Well, and it's not just Indiana dealing with this winter weather we see out there today. Snow, freezing rain, bone-chilling cold. It's spreading across several states.
The line of storms stretching from Texas to Maine with 65 million Americans in its path. Some areas are bracing for temperatures dropping to near zero.
Yeah, and ABC's Kenneth Moten has more on this.
This morning, winter is arriving early for millions of Americans. More than a month before the season's official start, a fast-moving storm is bringing snow, ice, and rain.
Came a little too soon. I don't have my scraper. I don't know where my boots are.
Snow fell overnight in New England and upstate New York, where up to a foot is possible in some areas. Behind the storm, another round of Arctic air, with temperatures below zero near Chicago. And freezing temperatures are now expected as far south as the Gulf Coast.
I think no matter what, you will all notice the cold, though. 25, that feels like in Houston, 7 below for Des Moines. And here in New York City, by Wednesday morning, it will feel like 15.
At least 4 deaths have been blamed on the dangerous travel conditions. In Kansas City, an apparent weather-related crash left this car dangling over the edge of a highway.
An unbelievable situation here. Somebody trapped in this car that almost went over the edge.
The driver rescued, escaping with just minor injuries. And a scare at snowy O'Hare International Airport in Chicago, where an American Airlines flight slid off the icy runway while attempting to land.
A lot of us, I mean, there was a number of us around us. We thought we were going to flip. So it was definitely scary.
Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
All right, back here at home, we want to take a look at what the weather is like today and what we can expect as we head outside.
Yeah, Todd, it is colder than we have experienced in a long time. What are people looking at?
You know, this is a rare air mass this early in the year. We just broke a record this morning that has been around since 1911, 108 years. So this kind of cold does not come around here in central Indiana this early in the season very often, but that's what we're dealing with today, and also we'll deal with for tomorrow morning. So what do you need to know as you walk out the door? Well, watch for slick spots this morning. There was no melting that took place, so if any roads or sidewalks or parking lots are untreated, it's still going to be very, very icy out there, but there is no precipitation in the forecast for the day today, so we're not going to put anything additional out there on the roadways and sidewalks. And the record cold, we mentioned that, got down to 12 degrees last hour, and that's where we sit right now, and that is the new record for this date. And here's the other issue, this wind. At of the northwest at 17 miles per hour. That's putting wind chills down below zero. So here are your actual temperatures. 8 degrees in Crawfordsville, 13 in Bloomington, 16 in Richmond. But this is what it really feels like out there, and it is not very pleasant. -5 is the wind chill value in Indy, -6 in Lafayette. 5 above is what it feels like in Muncie currently across the area. Now, the skies have cleared, or in the process of clearing, depending on where you are. There's still a little bit of lingering cloud cover here off towards the east. No additional snow. What you see up there to the north, that's just lake effect, enhanced snow, and with the direction of the wind, that's not going to turn and make its way into our area during the course of the day today. So it's sun-filled for us. That's the good news, but look at these temperatures. We are still in the teens through 11 o'clock this morning. Once we get into the afternoon hours, we'll see temperatures climb up into the 20s with bright sunshine. So have the sunglasses handy. Not only is it sunny, you have the snow on the ground, very reflective, so you'll be squinting out there if you don't have the sunglasses. And then temperatures are back down to 20 degrees already by 5 p.m. with mostly sunny skies. This evening, if you have plans, sunset is just after 5:30 this evening. And look at that. By the time we get to 11 p.m., we're back down to 12 degrees. The record for tomorrow morning is 10 degrees. And I think we probably break that once again, forecasting a low of 9 in Indy, 8 in Lafayette. So it's another very cold morning tomorrow. In fact, colder than this morning, as everybody should be in the single digits. And then tomorrow afternoon, we slowly start to turn the page. It's another sun-filled day for us. Temperatures get back up into the low 30s. And then as you look at your 7-day planning forecast, we'll continue to see our temperatures moderate as we head towards the weekend. Here's our average high. Should be 54 degrees at this time of year. Today, only 22, 31 on Wednesday. Eventually back up into the 40s as we head into the weekend. Lauren?
Todd, thanks so much. Here is a live look right now at traffic to the northwest. I-65 here at 30th Street. You can see traffic both northbound and southbound. The lanes are open and pretty clear this morning, so that is great news as you're heading out on the interstates. You'll still want to watch out in the parking lots, the sidewalks, and those secondary streets for some ice cover this morning. Let's take a look here at some drive times. No delays right now heading southbound on I-69 from State Road 13 down to I-465. It's only a 13-minute drive, so that is normal for your commute. Looking pretty good after that snowfall we had last night. So let's take a look over here towards the airport. You want to check your flight status before you're heading out there, but this is a live look at I-70 near the airport ramps, a little west of FedEx. And you can see here traffic on the interstates traveling up to speed. Of course, we'll continue to monitor things and keep you updated on any issues.
Acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney is now filing his own lawsuit over a subpoena in the impeachment inquiry. He was originally trying to join a suit by former Deputy National Security Advisor Charles Kupperman. Mulvaney did not appear for his scheduled testimony Friday despite getting a subpoena. He says the White House told him not to attend. His lawsuit will be filed against the White House and the House. He is asking for a judge's intervention to decide if he should testify.
At 5:20, doctors performed their first double lung transplant for a case connected to vaping. The man's lungs were so badly damaged from vaping that they were irreparable. The lung transplant was performed at the Henry Ford Health System in Detroit. The patient asked the hospital to share his story to warn others about the dangers of vaping. The CDC says more than 2,000 vaping-related injuries have been reported across the country.
A woman in Texas is fighting to prove she's not dead after a mistake by the Social Security Administration. 73-year-old Sherry Ellis says the administration accidentally used her Social Security number on someone else's death certificate. She found out about it when her bank card was declined. Ellis says her Social Security check, Medicare, and secondary insurance were all also put on hold. The Medicare office says it will take more than a month to get her back in the system. She expects to hear this week if she has been declared alive by the Social Security Administration. Awfully frustrating for her.
Yeah. Well, an Amazon spokesperson is saying that the company will be opening a grocery store. Amazon did not reveal the name or whether the new store will be part of a chain, but the company did say they plan to open a store next year in Los Angeles. The news comes months after reports that Amazon was negotiating to open supermarkets in multiple cities.
After years of waiting, Tesla is finally ready to reveal its electric pickup truck. The company says it will unveil the truck November 21st, but has released this teaser sensor image. It shows a line of light coming out of what appears to be the truck's hood. Tesla CEO Elon Musk says the new pickup truck will cost under $50,000 and be better than Ford's F-150. However, he says that traditional pickup truck buyers probably will not like the design. Ford and General Motors are also working on an electric pickup truck. An old dog is learning new tricks on the ice. After the break, we'll introduce you to Benny, the world-famous ice skating dog. We'll be right back.
Those free windows really cost you.
Welcome back. It is 5:25 on your Tuesday, and here's a live look over on the east side. I-70 here in Arlington Avenue. You can see we have a vehicle there and vehicle there on the shoulder of the road. But other than that, traffic is moving along up to speed over on the east side. We'll continue to keep an eye out for any crashes or issues that may slow you down.
What started as a fun hockey video has turned into social media stardom for this ice skating dog. Benny is a 6-year-old rescue from Cleveland who starred in a fan video for the Vegas Golden Knights. After taking off on social media, his owner decided to teach him how to skate. Being a professional ice skater herself, she built special skates for Benny to wear on his front paws. He has since gone viral, and now Benny offers public skating events with proceeds going to charity.
People laugh, they smile. It just makes you feel good. I had one parent tell me after he skated with them, she came up to me and said her son had never touched an animal, not even a dog.
Next, Cheryl hopes to get Benny on the ice at a Vegas Golden Knights home game. Well, if that doesn't make you smile on this miserably cold morning, I don't know what will.
I know, the dog's better than me at ice skating, so.
And hopefully that's not what anyone looks like walking
on the parking lot
into work today. Yeah.
You might be. You got to be a little careful out there. There is some ice, so especially if things weren't salted there was no melting that took place. I can guarantee that. Look at that. The lights in the speedway. They're on.
Wow.
I don't know if they're on for good or they're just
silver lining of this frigid morning.
Maybe they're just testing them and we caught them. We'll see here. But there's a little early preview on this cold and clear morning. Temperatures are in the teens in many locations and even below the teens over the next few hours, getting down to about 11 from the 7 to 8 o'clock hour. Then throughout the day, very little warming, even with mostly sunny skies. Highs today will only be in the 20s. Bundle up as you walk out the door. We'll have more news, weather, and traffic coming up with Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 5:27.
Today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5 on Good Morning Indiana, Metro Police are investigating a death on the city's south side.
We'll have the latest on this investigation. Plus, a winter weather advisory is in effect for much of central Indiana this morning.
Our Kelsey Anderson joins us with a live look at what you can expect when you head out the door and some tips on how to stay safe here on the roads. But first, here on this Tuesday morning, we do want to welcome you into Good Morning Indiana. And a heads up, we have more than 30 school delays right now, and it's due to that weather.
Yeah, those are scrolling at the bottom of your screen right now. We do want to get over to meteorologist Todd Clausen. Todd, it is so cold out. We have broken a record. The last time we saw temps this low on November the 12th, 1911.
Yeah, it just shows you. It just shows you how rare this air mass is this early in the year. Doesn't happen very often. Yesterday we set a record snowfall total for the day as we saw 2.8 inches, and this is going to be the view throughout the day today. The snow on the top of the buildings, on the ground, but plenty of sunshine. But that is not going to help to warm things much at all. So obviously you need the sunglasses this morning. You need the hat. You need the gloves. About the heaviest jacket you can find, because here is where your temperatures stand. 12 degrees in Indy. That's the new record, as Meredith mentioned. 8 in Crawfordsville, 11 in Martinsville. Bloomington, you're at 13 degrees. You factor in the wind, and it currently feels like temperatures are sub-zero in many locations. So you definitely have to bundle up and prepare yourself as you walk out the door. Here's the winter weather advisory. Counties have been dropped to the north. These will expire probably at 8 a.m. officially when the National Weather Service has that advisory. Not expecting it to be extended because all the precipitation's done. It's just what's on the ground that's causing the issues here this morning. Back off to our west, a lot of clear skies, and that's the sunshine we enjoy throughout the day today. But with that sunshine, not a whole lot of warming. Highs, Lauren, only up into the low 20s.
Ooh, all right, Todd. Well, we do want to take a look at those roads because, as you've been saying, things didn't melt overnight, but hopefully they were pre-treated, like here in the downtown area. I-65 and I-70 at the north split. The interstate's looking pretty good this morning as you're heading out on the roads. It's more the secondary streets, the sidewalks, the parking lots. You're going to watch for that ice and slick spots. Also, any bridges or overpasses. So just use caution out there. Let's take a look at your drive times heading in from the west side. The good news over here, no delays to tell you about on I-74. It's a 7-minute drive from State Road 267 through Brownsburg over to the west side of Indy at I-465. So that's good news for drivers in that area. So let's take a look over there. I-70 at the Sam Jones Expressway on the west side of town. You can see traffic is moving along pretty much up to speed, and that is great news. Of course, we'll keep a close eye on things around the metro area and keep you updated this morning. Well, we can tell you also this morning that nearly all of central Indiana remains under that winter weather advisory as the cold temperatures and the blowing snow could make those driving conditions worse as we go through the morning.
And our Kelsey Anderson is live this morning with a closer look at what driving conditions are like for drivers downtown. Kelsey, what are you noticing out there this morning?
So what we've noticed this morning is that the roadways aren't too bad, at least the main roadways. Now, I came in from the west side, and some of those county roads were a little slick still, but not too bad. Just want to take your time as you're out on the roads because, of course, it looks clear, but there could be different spots that's not so clear. But we're here at 96th Meridian, and you can see things are moving pretty smoothly. Here comes a plow truck now through here. But, yeah, things are moving pretty smoothly out here. The main thing we want to remind you of is those winter weather driving tips. That's leaving a little bit early, giving your car plenty of time to warm up before you head out, and then also making sure that it is clear of all snow from last night's snow. Another thing we want to remind you of is once you get to your location, you're going to want to watch because you can see here this sidewalk is slick. Parking lots are the same way. They are slick, so once you get out of your car, you're going to want to watch where you're walking and make sure that you're walking very carefully. Also, another good time to remind you to have your emergency weather preparedness kit packed up in your car. That's anything like a blanket, phone chargers, food, water, anything that you think you might need in a weather emergency if you run into one. So to keep that in mind. And then also for the bus stop this morning for your kids, you might want to either definitely have them bundled up or even drive them to the bus stop and sit with them in your warm car if you can. For now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Kelsey, thanks so much for that update. And Storm Team 6 is helping you to prepare for whatever the winter will bring this season. You can watch our special report, Weathering Winter in Indiana. That's at 8 o'clock tonight, only here on RTV6. Time now is 5:35 on your Tuesday. Want to get some breaking news we're following from the city's south side. Take a look here. Police are investigating a homicide at an apartment building near Garfield Park. Officers were called out to Garfield Terrace Apartments on Shelby Street just after 3 o'clock this morning on reports of a person down. When officers arrived there at the scene, they found a man lying unconscious inside of the common area of the apartments. Witnesses tell us that police heard an argument shortly before the man was found, and police do not believe that the man lived in that building. If you have any information about what happened at this scene, please call Crime Stoppers.
To some other news now out of southern Indiana. Evansville police have arrested 3 people in connection to a body that was found in a detached garage. Police were called to a home on 3rd Avenue on reports of a deceased person. When they arrived, they found the body in a detached garage. Officers believe it had been there for quite some time and someone had tried to conceal it. 1 woman and 2 men were all arrested in connection to the incident. The victim's identity has not yet been released and the investigation is ongoing.
Back here in Indianapolis, there are still no charges after a man shot 2 women at his home on the east side, Officers there were called to Rudiers Avenue near Washington Street and Post Road. That happened just before 9 o'clock Monday morning. The homeowner told police that he thought the women were trying to break into his house. According to investigators, the women are in a domestic situation with the homeowner. They were both shot in the arm.
Today, the community will get answers from members of a Central Indiana school board after months of controversy. The Northwest Hendricks County School Board has been facing criticism over its handling of Tri-West coach and teacher Tyler Bruce. Bruce is under investigation over allegations of sexual misconduct with a student. The board voted to put him on paid administrative leave instead of firing him, which the administration recommended. Last month, Call 6 Investigates learned one board member is Bruce's uncle. Tonight's meeting starts starts at 6:30 at Tri-West Middle School. We will continue to follow this story and bring you the latest developments following that meeting.
At 5:37, tens of thousands of Hoosier students will not be in a class a week from today as the list of districts taking part in Go Red for Ed continues to grow. You can add Pike, Franklin, Washington, Lawrence, and Warren Township schools, in addition to Greenfield and Mount Vernon schools joining that growing list of districts that will be closed or offering e-learning days on Tuesday, November 19th. IPS and Wayne Township schools were already on that list. This is to allow teachers to attend the Go Red for Ed rally at the State House on the 19th. This is to lobby lawmakers to put public education as a top priority during the upcoming session.
For the first time in 25 seasons, IU football is ranked in the Associated Press top 25 poll. And Saturday, Hoosiers travel to Penn State for what's now a top 25 matchup. The news comes a little more than a week after IU's big win over Northwestern. That happened during the first November night game in Memorial Stadium history. The Hoosiers are now riding a 4-game winning streak in conference play, their first since 1993. You can watch Saturday's game right here on RTV6. Kickoff is set for noon.
Well, regardless of the outcome of Saturday's game, the Hoosiers there are going bowling, and the school officials want to make sure that fans are ready. The schools officially launched the IU Football Central website. The Hoosier fans can visit the site to get information on all things bowl related. The site will also be home to important information regarding important dates, deadlines, special events, travel information, and more. This year's bowl trip will be IU's third in 5 years and falls on the 40th anniversary of their first ever bowl game victory when the Hoosiers beat BYU in the Holiday Bowl in 1979. Indiana's official bowl announcement will be made Sunday, December 8th. Back here, we want to take a look at our forecast and what people are expecting to see all across the country right now, Todd.
You know, I just wanted to point out how far south this cold air mass goes. Look at Dallas, Texas right now, 24 degrees. Memphis is at 23. It's colder here than it is in Denver. Kansas City's at 11 degrees, and the East Coast is about to get hit with this cold as well. The only warmth we really have is South Florida, and then as you work your way from Phoenix over into Los Angeles, as you would expect. Here in central Indiana, though, we have the snow on the ground. We had 2.8 inches yesterday. That set a new record. There's still a few lake effect snow showers here in northern portions of Indiana, but that is just about it. We are not expecting any additional precipitation here throughout the day today. So as the kids head off to school, you just really need to bundle them up. 11 degrees on average over the next couple hours. It's windy as well this morning. So wind chill values are hovering at or just below 0 in many locations. And then as the kids come home from school, there's not a whole lot of warming that takes place here throughout the day today. Skies will be sunny. That's the good news. But temperatures not even above freezing later on this afternoon, as all we can get to is the low to mid 20s.
Todd, thank you. The widow of the late Elijah Cummings plans to run for his congressional seat. How she plans to carry on his legacy while also creating one of her own.
Boeing says it's optimistic about the return of the grounded 737 MAX planes coming up when the company says those planes could be back in the air. At 5:40, let's take a look right now at traffic. Your interstates over here on the east side, I-465 and I-70 traveling up to speed. We also have school delays scrolling at the bottom of your screens because the secondary roads could be a little rough and it's so cold out there. We'll be right back after the break with more news, weather, and traffic right here on Good Morning Indiana.
Celgens XR.
Welcome back. Time right now is 5:44, and here's a live look at I-69 near Cumberland Road. You can see traffic here looks to be moving along up to speed. The interstate's looking pretty clear today after all that snow, but we still may have some slick spots out there. And if you're traveling on any secondary roads, you may notice more ice out there this morning. So use caution as you're heading out. I'd still give yourself an extra 5-10 minutes just to be safe. Well, today the highest court in the nation is set to hear oral arguments about the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA.
The program offers protections for people who were brought to the U.S. as children of immigrants. President Trump has long claimed the executive action that brought DACA to life is an overreach of authority. Just months after taking office, he called for ending the protections for roughly 700,000 undocumented immigrants. In 2017, Democratic officials attempted to make a deal with President Trump to keep the protections in place, but the plan fell apart.
Former President Jimmy Carter will have surgery this morning to relieve pressure on his brain. He was seen arriving at Atlanta's Emory University Hospital last night. According to the Carter Center, the pressure is due to bleeding from recent falls. Carter was hospitalized twice last month, once requiring 14 stitches after hitting his forehead on a sharp object. The second time receiving treatment for a minor pelvic fracture. Both times the 95-year-old got immediately back on his feet, volunteering with Habitat for Humanity and teaching Sunday school. Carter, who is the oldest living president, previously survived brain and liver cancer.
The widow of late Congressman Elijah Cummings is planning to run for her husband's seat in Congress. Maya Rocky Moore Cummings currently serves as the chairwoman of the Maryland Democratic Party. She told the Baltimore Sun that she wants to carry her husband's legacy forward while also building a legacy of her own. Her platform focuses on health care, education, and protecting Social Security programs. Rocky Moore Cummings says she will start campaigning after recovering from a preventative double mastectomy scheduled for this Friday. Elijah Cummings died last month at the age of 68.
Google gathered millions of patient records on behalf of a healthcare provider without doctors or patients knowing it. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. The effort, codenamed Project Nightingale, began last year. It's a partnership with Ascension and the second largest healthcare system in the country. According to the Journal, Google had access to complete health records, including names, dates of birth, lab results, and hospitalization records. The company say the goal is to use the data to help design new software to improve individualized patient care. They also say the program is in line with federal health laws. Ascension operates 2,600 hospitals in 21 states, including St. Vincent Hospital System here in Indiana.
The official start of winter is more than a month away, but an Arctic blast is sweeping across the country. The coldest era of the season coming to the eastern two-thirds of the U.S., including right here in central Indiana. In Chicago yesterday, a heavy dose of snow, wind, and ice caused an American Airlines plane to slide off the runway. The FAA says some of the plane's landing gear collapsed, but luckily no one was hurt. Still, this morning, more than 1,000 flights have been canceled at O'Hare and Midway as 3 to 6 inches of snow is expected to fall in the area. And if you're leaving from the Indianapolis airport this morning, you will want to check your flight status. At last check, there were about a dozen delays and cancellations reported. And at 5:47, we're going to send things over to Todd. Some of those cancellations could be due to that. What is behind you, Todd?
Yeah, 12. That's the new record for the low temperature on this date. It was set back way in 1911, and we have just broken it. It was 14. That was the record, so this was the new record. And it's not out of the question that temperature could go down a couple more degrees here this morning. As skies are clear, we have that fresh snowpack on the ground, and that is leading to some of these very, very cold temperatures. How about this, though? Sign of the season, right? The lights getting set up there in IMS, and look at the skyline off in the distance. Skies are completely clear here this morning. 12 degrees. Again, that's the new record. It's the current temperature. The winds out of the northwest at 17 miles per hour. That's an issue here this morning as well. And sunrise at 7:26. Once the sun comes up, it'll be a bright day from start to finish. You'll want to have those sunglasses handy, but you are not going to see much in the way of warming here throughout the day today. 11 right now in Martinsville, down to 7 in Crawfordsville, one of our cooler spots always. 11 in Tipton. 16 is the current temperature over in Richmond. You factor in that wind I mentioned, and from Terre Haute to Indy, north to Peru, and over to Lafayette, your feel-like temperature is down below 0. So it's a bitter cold start for us, and throughout the day today, we have the sunshine. That's the good news, but temperatures are very slow to warm. 17 degrees by 10 a.m., 22 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour, and then maybe we go up another couple degrees in the afternoon hours, and that is just about it. And by 6 p.m., we're already down into the teens, and as you wake up tomorrow morning, I think almost all locations will be in the single digits. So this is not even the coldest of the air mass that's in place here this morning. Now, the good news is we have gotten rid of the snow. There's some lake effect snow showers in the Fort Wayne area, but that is just about it. Otherwise, we have no issues with precipitation throughout the day today. Tomorrow morning, Wednesday, 9 degrees in the city, 7 in Peru, maybe about 10 degrees in Bloomington. The record for tomorrow is 10 degrees, so that is very much in jeopardy. Again, here's the current record that we set for the day today. I'm forecasting that low of 9. Tomorrow's record, not as old as the one that was set back in 1911. 1986 is the last time we got down to 10 degrees. And then for the day tomorrow, we'll have plenty of sunshine, a little bit warmer in the afternoon. Instead of 20s, we make the jump into the low 30s, still well below normal. And then looking ahead in this forecast, each day will kind of moderate the temperatures just a little bit. Upper 30s for Wednesday and Thursday. Finally, by the time we get to Friday, we're up to 40 degrees. The good news, though, as you look at your 7-day planning forecast, not much in the way of precipitation heading our way the next 7 days. So it's a pretty dry stretch of weather for us. That is the good news. And finally, by the time we get to Sunday and Monday, temperatures could be approaching the 50-degree mark. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. The good news, the roads are looking pretty good right now around the metro area. No major crashes or issues to report. We do have a little bit of a slowdown, it looks like, here on southbound I-65, coming around this curve here into the downtown area by West Street and MLK. So we'll monitor that area and keep you updated if there's any issues or spots you need to avoid. Other than that, it looks pretty good here on your interstate. So let's take a look over here to our northeast side, I-465. This is near Pendleton Pike. Traffic's moving along up to speed northbound and southbound, but still, as you're heading out there today, I'd leave about 10 minutes early at least, just to give yourself that extra time on secondary streets that may still be slick.
Boeing remains optimistic that its 737 MAX jets will fly again this year, despite some airlines pulling the planes from their schedules until early March. Monday, Boeing announced plans to resume deliveries of its grounded planes as early as next month. The announcement comes just days after Southwest and American Airlines said they would not be flying the planes until the first week of March. Still, investors cheered the new timeline, causing Boeing shares to jump nearly 5% Monday. The FAA has not commented on the timeline to get the jets back in the air.
A Jeopardy contestant's heartwarming message brings host Alex Trebek to tears. Why he said that message was worth more than winning. It's 5:51. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Sandwich. Only at Dunkin'.
Welcome back here at 5:54. We're keeping a close eye on your roads as you're heading out on this Tuesday after we got all that snowfall. Really, the interstates are looking pretty good. This is I-70 and Arlington Avenue on the east side, but we do have more than 80 school delays right now, so check the RTV6 app in the bottom of your screen for a full list.
Alex Trebek was nearly brought to tears when a contestant left a heartfelt message during the Tournament of Champions Final Jeopardy round last night. When Trebek got to contestant Drew Vgar, who was in a distant third place, he revealed this answer.
Prove you're smiling. I like that. Let's take a look at your response. Did you come up with the right one? No? What is we love you? That's very kind of you. Thank you. Cost you $19.95. You're left with $5. Okay.
In a tweet, Gar says right before he revealed his "We love you, Alex" message, Trebek shared he was re-entering treatment for pancreatic cancer. Gar also said he could have tried to solve the puzzle, but he just kept thinking about Trebek, so he was glad he got to say what everyone at that tournament was thinking.
Yeah,
such
I love
a
that
nice
message.
move there. Yeah.
All right, back here at home, we do want to get a look at our forecast. Todd, more than 80 school delays right now.
Yeah, you know, and that could be for several reasons. It's bitter cold out there. Some of these buses may have some issues with the cold. And then we also have the leftover snow from yesterday, which creates slick spots, obviously. And there was no melting that took place. And if nothing's salted, we could see those issues. 9 right now in Zionsville, 12 in Bloomington, as well as Indianapolis. It's a bitter cold start. Wind chills right now are below 0. They stay that way for a good chunk of the day. The only bright spot literally in this forecast today is the sunshine. Skies will be mostly sunny with eventually a high temperature up to 22 degrees. The time now is 5:56. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. Time for us to take a break, but we'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay with us.